All right, so it's preparing to live stream the meeting. And then I'll have to do a real quick thing here for the cupcake holders again. Here we go. Okay, get the address, copy. Post it on say just slow internet. I don't know why. Post it on the mentor page and on the anatomically correct trim page. And we'll be ready to go here. All right. So I'm just gonna kind of go over what we just went through about a good example for the lamina, which is you get yourself some cupcake holders and you see how those cupcake holders fit together. And that's the way your capsule and your foot. See the lamina here, that would be one cupcake holder. And the internal lamina on the foot here, that would be another cupcake holder. And they just fit, they have to fit a specific way. You see, there isn't two ways that you're going to make these cupcake holders fit together. They fit together one way and one way only. Now, anyway, so there you pretty much have it. And so this lamina that connects in here, the piece that starts here and runs down here, connects with the sole here internally in this foot. This is supposed to connect here for the life of that horse. And of course you've got, I had a ruler here. What would I do with it? Just a second. They're longer in the front and then they get shorter as they go around to the heel. They gradually recede and they have to be in alignment just like that. And so when that doesn't happen, they become disconnected from the sole here. And so you can't get the thickness of the sole that you would want. And that's where you're going to wind up too with separation here in the quarters. I know there's a lot of us that for a long time couldn't get a good connection right here. You might have a good connection around here, but in here there was always dirt and it always seemed like if you were going to get a clean connection, you'd have to scoop the quarters or something like that. Well, that's because the lamina here are not in alignment. Now the lamina in this capsule are not in alignment right here. Just a minute, I got another capsule. This one's better. This one here, let me get rid of that. Okay, keep losing my ruler. Okay, this one here, they gradually recede back to here. Okay, and they're at the correct angle here. Okay, this one here, the heels are collapsed. You see that? And that's similar to what happens when your heels are trimmed out. It does the same basic thing. But you see, the heel is that long. The heel is not short, but it's collapsed forward and it's pulled the back of the foot down. And so that's very similar to what happens when your heels are trimmed out, except that the hoof capsule is the correct size for that horse's foot. If the heels were trimmed out like that to where it had pulled the back of the foot down to the ground, then the capsule would be smaller, because as you trim the heels out and as it pulls that foot down to the ground, it also makes the capsule smaller from here forward. Okay, so anyway, so you see these horn tubules, they're more run forward like that. Like that. And so if his heels weren't collapsed, and if they were stood up, like so, then this horn tubule here would also be like so, and the toe would be a little steeper too. So anyway, so the lamina in here and the lamina on the foot have to be joined together in a specific way, in a specific spot, with a specific configuration, so that the hoof capsule is correctly connected to the foot and they are in with no leverage. The toe ain't too long, the heels ain't too long. I mean, different things, so that you have weight bearing equilibrium between the capsule and the foot. Say no leverage, so that nothing is separating these lamina. See, even if I lift this up, if I lift up the toe, what happens? Do you see the difference in what the horn tubules and the lamina here would do to that of the foot? That would be similar, even though I'm lifting this, that would be similar to lowering the heels, because it makes the back part here lower. And you notice how it changes the angle of the lines in the cupcake cup. See, that's weight bearing equilibrium. Lower the heels, and what happens here? See the difference? How the connection changes, and the weight bearing would change also. Okay, so enough for that analogy, demonstration, example, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so I wanted to go to, I wanted to get on the mentor page. So let me share. I got to share. It's always good to share. Share screen. We're going to go, is that, let's see, we'll try this one. Okay, we're on the mentor education page, and we're going to go down here and look at this foot, because this falls right in example. This falls right in line and in example to a foot I just saw on there. Am I on the right page? Yeah, it's okay. Hold on. I thought I just saw it there. Just a second. Well, here. There it is. I don't know whose post it was, but
Marcia, I think.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I see it now right here. Okay, so anyway, she marked, you know, of course this is a computer markup, but she marks the center of the toe at 3.5 inches, and then over, you know, a couple inches, and you mark down again, and that's 3 1/4. Now, the point I wanted to make about this is that when doing this, you're doing this for a specific reason, just to check out the shape of your foot, okay, in the front. You can't really, if your horn tubules aren't in alignment, you can't really follow the horn tubules, because if your horn tubules were grown forward, even though the height from here, let me get annotate. Where's my stuff? There we go. Annotate. Just a second here. My red. Okay. Even though it might be 3 1/4 inches to here, if your measurement was like 2 inches over from here and 2 inches over from here, and then you drew a line down here and measured it, and it's 3/4 inch, about 1/4 of an inch lower than the center of the toe, because the horn tubules gradually recede as in length, meaning also height here, right? Also the height. And so they gradually recede in length. So if the horn tubule was in alignment, you could follow the horn tubule down and measure it, and that would work out well. But if your horn tubule is like this, I did some markups to where it makes it longer than that. Just a minute, I'll show you the picture I did. Just a minute. Let me undo this. Let's see. Okay, first I did this picture to show where the horn tubules were on this foot. Now, if she say came to here and then followed, which she didn't do, and then followed a horn tubule down to here, okay, that's going to be a lot longer than 3 1/4 inch. In fact, that would be longer than the center of the toe, right? So you would not want to measure that following a horn tubule and then try and lower this to get that alignment. Okay, that only works if your horn tubules are already in alignment here. Okay, because let me go to the next picture, just a minute here, that I did. See, there's so many things to explain. And sometimes I guess I don't explain things really clear. Like when I'm in the center of the toe, yeah, I follow the horn tubule down. And usually when I'm over here on my horse, I can follow it down. Okay, but some of these horses, because the horn tubules are displaced, like right in here, like on this horse, you couldn't follow the horn tubule down. When the reason you are making these marks on the front of this foot here is just to try and wrap your head around. It's another way to judge and determine if you're getting close to what the shape of the real foot is. And you see on here, this line here, where the horn tubule really is actually much longer than 3 1/4 inch. If I was to take this line here, just a minute, annotate. If I was to take this line here, see it there? And I measured this on the screen and then drew this other line. Okay, and if you pull it back to here, where she measured at, you see how much longer it is than 3 1/4 inch right there. So in doing this, and I'll have to ask Amanda if this is what she did that time when I was trying to help her work on the pillars. And we were talking about how you have to start getting this area a little shorter than the center of the toe so that the hoof capsule starts and the toe quarters, which is right here. That okay, somebody needs to mute. Okay. 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 So that the toe quarters, which is what they are. I ain't calling them pillars. No, ain't a word. I am not calling them pillars anymore because that is incorrect, because they are not major weight bearing structures. Okay. And I will tell you why. They started thinking they were because of board imprints. Well, horses don't live on a board, right? Okay, so now the heel buttress, they are like a pillar. It's a big chunk of wall. It supports and the whole hoof capsule and the back of the foot and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to show you a picture here. Just a minute here. Undo. All right, so when you're doing, and I'm going to show you why you're doing this, okay? See, because we screw up in the shape of the foot, in the shape of that toe. You see so many feet that are round or square or something like that, okay? And so we have to get the shape of the front of these feet correct. And trim correctly. If you leave a little too long, they just grow out and pull the whole foot out of whack. So we have to learn to trim to the shape of the foot, and that's what this particular measurement is all about. So when we do it, we measure over 2 inches. I just did that as a general measurement. And then it, it should be 2 inches between here about all the way down. Okay. Now I'm going to show you why. Just a minute. Well, I posted a picture. Just a second here. I did post a picture right here. Okay, so you see these feet. This is an internal foot, and this is the shape of the internal foot. And so since I know that the hoof wall is the longest in the center, and then that it look at the coronary band, how it goes. See how it kind of dips down? I know it's the longest in the center, and then I know that it gets like, okay, down here, when I look at this hoof capsule, I should be able to see a wall that relatively mimics the shape of this internal foot. See, this was what I was trying to do here, was trying to figure out how can I trim so that my capsule will fit the shape of my foot. What am I looking at? What should it look like? Say, what should it look like when I am out here on the ground or looking at pictures? What should that thing look like? And it should look, I should be seeing a shape like this up here. That's what I should be seeing. Now, what happens is that when you look here on this capsule, it was left long. See? So if you leave this long just a little bit every time, eventually what happens is right here, this wall, which is dovetailed means it slides up and down, up and past the sole as it grows. Instead of sliding down like this, if it's weighted and too long, the growth, what's the growth start to do? Oh, it starts to push up like so, and it can push up almost 1/4 of an inch. And then what's going to happen? What are you going to see? Well, you're going to see your hairline go like this. See there? And so you could have 3.5 inches here, and you could have 3.5 inches there. But on the real foot, is that what you would have? No, on the real foot, we know that from here to here, it's going to be recede in length and be shorter than in the center of the toe. And so 2 things we want to look at. We want to look at the hairline. What's going on up here? Did these horn tubules get shoved up that way? And if so, we need to start giving them relief here first so that this part right here will come back down. Okay, see, it was up here, shoved up here, but we're beveling at the ground now, and we're not leaving this little chunk down here. See that? Because we're trimming according to the shape of the foot. Okay, and so as we bevel it and give it room, then this, where it's shoved up the coronary band there and the hairline, then it'll come down to where it's supposed to be, right there. Okay, and then we can determine better too what length it ought to be, because let's say we have measured this at 3, on this horse, it was probably 3 1/4. Okay, right in here. Ultimately, when we got everything put together and all the horn tubules in the right space, what we're going to want 3.5 inches, because we want a good inch of sole under our horse's foot. That's what the wild horses have that can run over all the rugged terrain, and that's about, the sole will grow 3/4 to an inch when the sole is correct. And the horn tubules are all in alignment and supporting the sole. The wall is supporting the sole correctly. The sole will grow about 3/4 of an inch to an inch thick before it dies and exfoliates. Now, you got to remember, the wall can grow forever, all right, just like hair, but the sole will only grow and stay alive. The sole will only grow about 3/4 to an inch on a normal sized horse before it dies. And then it just exfoliates. Although if it doesn't exfoliate because the horse didn't get enough move, then it can be retained sole, which can be compressed to look like live sole, but in truth, it's false sole. Okay. I need a drink after that one of water. All right, okay, so the reason we are doing these lines, all right, and of course that line that you do is probably going to be more right about there, maybe, yeah, okay. Okay, the reason I started doing those lines because I needed another way to try and tell if I was trimming correct and trimming the hoof capsule to the shape of the foot. See, because you can see here, I was trimming this horse, I think. Was that a horse I was trimming? Might be a picture of somebody else, I don't know. But irregardless, you can see that this horse, they're leaving the toe quarters longer than they should be, because see, they're not shaped like a foot. See, and I don't have the pictures of the actual, this is a foot off a different horse that I dissected. Okay. So I don't know what horse this was that I superimposed this over, but obviously he was not being trimmed correctly right here. And so probably if we could see his hairline, I'll bet it was raised right here as well. So we want a nice relaxed hairline here. We don't want a jammed hairline. That's not a very good drawing. Just a minute here. See how it just goes down like that? See? We want a nice relaxed hairline. We want a capsule that's shaped like the foot in front. See there? And so these lines are just like informational lines for us. That doesn't mean that if I come in here and I measure my horse's wall because you got to have some sole under here, right? Now this foot was probably about 2.5 inches from here to here. And all these feet, maybe bigger warm bloods could be a little bit more, but on your general sized horses, they're all about the same in here, right from here to here, where they meet up with the sole. See, your wall meets up with the sole here, then it attaches to the sole and they grow to the ground together, and that wall supports the sole. It plays a supporting and a retaining position for that sole because the sole is softer. And so these lines, the reason I started them was because, well, I came in and I did this. I was trimming my mare and I wanted to know how is her foot shaped. So I came in, I found a picture of a dissection. I put it on a hoof. I started looking at it and I said, okay, well, let's just say the wall recedes. Let's just say this has got to be maybe about 1/4 of an inch shorter. And so then by looking, by measuring, then I would be able to start to tell if I was starting to trim the toe correctly to get these toe quarters in so that the hoof capsule was the shape of the foot. And that is what those are for. They're just a guideline to see if you are kind of getting yourself in the ballpark when you're trimming these. Well, they can do different things. First of all, since most of these feet, and I can show you measurements on different cadaver feet, are around 2.5 inches from the top of the hairline to right here. Of course, they can also have jammed up hairline because, you know, this coronary bone, this coronary band can be jammed up. It's just cartilage. It's just soft tissue and cartilage, so it can be pushed up like you'd push up your I don't know, like you push something up, soft tissue. And so but if it's not pushed up and if it's relaxed and stuff, we can kind of tell if the capsule is the shape of our foot. This is to tell if we're getting in the ballpark. Okay, and if not, what's going on and how can we change it? Is it jammed up? Do I need to just bevel? Like here on this horse, what I would do now, first of all, I would absolutely shorten and change the shape of the wall here in the sides, right here. You see there? And then I would bevel. I would go ahead and flat take something like that, kind of off there. Which that's pretty much kind of doing a little bit of flat rasping on the bottom from the sides, and I would kind of take that down. Then I would just do a bevel on that wall if there was no jamming. If there's jamming, well, I'm still going to do a bevel to let the jamming down. But you're doing this to work with this to try and get this toe right, because this toe can hold you up in all kinds of ways. These toe quarters here, if they get long and established and they jam down like this, see, well, looky there. See, if it starts being like that, they're going to hold you right where you're at. Okay, so anyway, I wanted you to know that when you measure over about 2 inches, you want this, I think, we need to do some experimentation, but you can't just follow a horn tubule. You can in the center of the toe, but you can't necessarily on the sides of the toe if you're running into one like a horn tubule that's right here that maybe has grown way forward or something like that. So you got to kind of watch that, because if you did that, let's say you had a horn tubule that ran clear over here and you followed it, and it was 3.5 inches long, and you had a say 3.25 inch toe, and so you're thinking, well, that has to be taken up 1/4 of an inch shorter than the center of the toe here. Well, you're going to take that up way too short right here and make the horse sore. Okay, so I'm going to ask you right now if anybody has a question about why we use this, what it's for, how it's just to kind of help you get in the ballpark of where you're supposed to be, how you correctly use it and how you could incorrectly use it and wind up taking too much wall off your horse and making him sore. See? So anyway, does anybody have anything to add to that?
From the picture, Linda, this is Denise. From the picture, it looks like it is long in that region, in those toe quarters.
Yeah, this horse was for sure.
The one that you originally were looking at that was marked up. I had seen that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that one
okay,
is.
Let me go back to that.
Yeah.
Okay, let me clear all this.
If you could describe how you would trim that, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Okay, are we back to that picture? You see it?
Yep, that's the one.
There.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna want to do is I'm gonna want to correct now she has some room to play with. She has 1/4 of an inch she can play with on this toe. Okay. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to work with these horn tubules. Let's look at this picture here. See how they're right here? So I'm going to want to bring this toe back a little more, shorten the breakover up on this toe, and then make sure I bevel the sides here a little more, because I'm going to want these horn tubules to start kicking back so that we can get the excess wall out of them. Because see, that's what happens when they get displaced and they grow forward, you wind up with a chunk of wall in here that has excess wall in it. I went through a whole process of taking that out of my horse's feet, and like, they're not perfect yet for sure, but just a minute. Okay, so what happens is, normally if the horn tubule right here, that'd be just right. And then if this horn tubule here was right there, okay, then you have this portion of wall. Okay, you see it is a specific size in here, just like this right here has a certain amount of wall. It is a specific size. You see that? And of course, back here, you would have the same thing ultimately in the end. So only a certain amount of wall should be in the capsule, and it should be in this position. All right. But because at some point the heels were over trimmed, which pulled the back of the foot down, which changed the angle of these tubules going that way, then they were able to grow forward and add wall into the capsule. And so this wall will kind of hold everything in limbo. So let me get a good color to use here. Okay, we'll use this. So I want you to look at this chunk of wall right here in the blue, in the center. That would be the correct amount of wall with the correct angle of the horn tubules in the capsule, just like the cupcake holders. Okay, in this case, our cupcake holders are not together correctly. Okay, and so that's so much fun.
Great
Okay,
analogy.
So yeah, I thought
It's
it
really
worked out
good.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, so look here at this chunk of wall. This is your blue chunk of wall there. Now it's also going to kind of hold it down there. See, ultimately this wall come up a little bit like this too, because it's all kind of being held down there. Okay, so this is your piece of wall right there. See it? See the difference? If I wish I could like kind of cut it out and take it and move it back, well, you'd see it. It'd look like this. Just a minute. Let me find another color. Let's see. Let's use pink. Okay. If this chunk of wall moved back to where it should be without taking off any of the excess, it would look like this. Just a minute here. Let me get my ruler so I can do this piece the exact length. Okay, I'm going to measure this piece right here. Okay. Okay, so that is 6.5. Let's see. About there. Okay, so if I was, that's how much excess wall right there is in the capsule. This little piece right here.
Is that why also sometimes there's like a crinkle in some of the horses' hooves?
The crinkle?
Yeah.
You mean where they get like a bulge in this ring here?
Exactly.
Well, to me, at this time, well, one thing I see here going on, first of all, is this this arc here. Shouldn't have that. These growth rings should go straight back like that. Shouldn't be that curve. See that curve? But the crinkle you're talking about is what I call a compression ring. And what happens is you have growth rings. Let me undo this here. Just a minute here. Undo. You have growth rings. Just like you have these horn tubules that come down this way. Okay? You have growth rings because here's your coronary band. And so it puts out growth rings like this. Okay. And when the wall gets too weighted or there's pressure internally on the lamina, the wall will compress. And then you'll see this deal, just a minute here. You'll see these growth rings do a little bulge like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly.
When the wall does that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so it's really interesting about these hoof capsules because they are much more fluid than what you think. They can stretch out and they can totally compress. And so they can do it two ways. They can stretch out to where they can become very flared all the way around and the horn tubules separate and spread out. And then these growth rings here, okay, when the wall down here gets too weighted and long and the horse is walking on the wall, because the wall is what you call dovetailed into the sole, meaning it slides down through the sole as it grows. Okay, that's the part you cut off that grows past the sole. Well, when that gets weighted, it tends to shove the wall back up. And in order to protect the horse, to protect this foot, to protect the lamina, the wall will compress. And so when the wall compresses, you will see like a bulge in these rings here. See, that is how the horse is trying to keep the wall from jamming all the way back up into the coronary band and shoving the coronary band up. It's a way to try and help the leverage forces that are being placed on the hoof because the walls are getting too long. And like I noticed last time I trimmed my horse's front feet, he had some pretty good compression rings is what I called them, these bulges in two places, because it had been I kind of left him a little longer than I should have, and he was walking a little too much wall. And so then when I trimmed him up and stuff, I just watched him for 2 or 3 days. And even though the sign of the rings was there in that it changes the color of the pigmentation of the foot, at least in him, the rings smoothed out. So see, that wall can, like an accordion, it can kind of be squeezed together and then it can kind of relax out as well. Just in and of itself. But another thing is too, it can also be jammed up here, pushing up the hairline, and it can also release and relax all the way down. Okay. All right. So what you want to do is you're wanting to get this green chunk here. You're wanting to get these horn tubules backed up and back in alignment where the blue line, actually the pink line would be. This is what drawing that line in the sand, keeping your toe correct, that's going to help. But then also reading the foot and knowing that this is what you want to do. Then you come in here. Just a second here. I got to get rid of that. Just a second. Hold on. I got McAfee giving me a hard time here. McAfee, whatever his name is. Just a second here. Okay, there we go. I gotta fix something here. Hold on. Moosh. Nope. Nope. Okay. All right, there, I'm fixed now. All right, so we're wanting to get this green piece back. Now I'm going to show you some pictures of my horse's hooves because I really trimmed the heels out of him. And so his horn tubules were way run forward. So let's see, let me just take a picture of this. Hold on. Okay. And stop the annotate. Just a second here. Clear all drawings. All right. Okay, so hold on a second, and I gotta go find these pictures.
Det är lagom med det täcket, eller?
Ja, hur så?
That's
Nej, du har bytt och tagit mitt täcke.
Aha.
they were gonna play a game called Guess That Language. German. Let's see here. Okay, clear all drawings. Let me close that. Just a second. Okay. Just a minute. Take me a second to find the actual pictures here. Okay. Here's one. Just a second. New share. Oops, I lost it. Hold on. Well, here, this is a better one. Just a second. New share. Okay, can you see that there? Everybody there?
Yes.
Hello? Okay. Okay, now this I did because I wanted to show you how the cupcake holders are supposed to fit together. Okay. All right. So here you see how my horse's foot was, and you see the horn tubules, how they were grown forward. Just a minute. Let me get to annotate this. Get a drawing. Well, we'll use pink. What the heck? All right. So his horn tubules were grown forward into here. I made sure I kept the toe back to where it was supposed to be. And then I would come in here and I would bevel to relieve right here, all along here. And I would come out and I would bevel, like once you trim and then you bevel, you finish off, you do your bevel. And then what happens is a lot of times, because first of all, there's a lot of pressure on the wall when it's forward like this. It wants to go back here where it's supposed to be. And so when you come in there and you bevel the wall, let's see, it would be like this. You bevel it up like this. And so you got your bevel. You can see my little bevel on there a little bit. Okay, then what happens is, because you give it room, these horn tubules, okay, somebody needs to put on their mute button.
Det brukar ju Svensson-familjerna ha också.
De brukar köra Volvo, det gör inte.
It's Nina.
Nina.
There, I muted Nina. Okay, so all right, so you bevel it all along here, and what happens is, because it has room, it naturally will drop down like that. And as this drops down, what's it do? You come out in a few days or whenever, and you think, wow, I thought I beveled that, but it looks like the wall grew. But you see, the wall didn't grow. The wall was able, because you gave it room, because you brought the toe back, which is going to put a little pressure on it, and because you beveled it and gave it room out here, then it was able to move back. And so you're going to come in there again and trim, and here you're going to bevel the wall again. See, now my wall is here. Okay, so I'm going to bevel the wall again. That gives it room to move back. And what does the wall do? The wall drops, and it looks like it grew, but it didn't grow. It just moved back. See? Because you gave it some relief at the ground level, so it had room to just fall back, kind of like that. So there, and now your wall has moved back to there. And you see, as you do it, you're also taking this piece out. This piece out. Where did I show it? This pink piece here. Remember? That piece has to come out. As that wall is falling back and the horn tubules are moving, because that's where it wants to be, because that's where its true anatomy is. Cupcake holders want to be together. Okay. Then you're getting that excess wall out of the capsule, and you're getting all these horn tubules start to be in alignment, and all of a sudden too, you'll start getting this ring, this curved ring starts coming out. The hairline starts straightening out. The internal lamina start lining up together and connecting with the sole better. Your sole starts getting better. Your heels start getting better. I mean, everything just starts improving. Different aspects of the hoof. If you had a lot of separation in the quarters, that starts changing. Not so much separation. Let's see. I should have been, just a minute. Hold on. I was showing this picture here while I was talking. I was showing this picture here. Remember this picture? Remember the green? You've got excess capsule in there. I showed you how much right here. Well, as that right here, say, that was the excess capsule that was over in here. And so as all this comes back, you're getting everything into alignment with that inner foot. And in weight bearing unity, you're getting all them cupcake holders together, so to speak.
Hi, Linda, this is Marcia. Thank you for doing that. That's my horse's foot. This is really informative.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have a question. So I was watching one of your videos, and it said you should never put the wall level with the sole because he doesn't have a lot of sole. But I left about almost a quarter of an inch of wall, excess wall around the edge. Should I level that off with the sole and then bevel it around the pillars?
Yeah, I would. You know, I mean, I do, but I can't guarantee you that he won't be tender-footed if you do that. See, because you really, you're in a catch-22 here. Your horse's feet aren't correct anyway, right. You know, and you got to do some things to kind of get things moving, you know, and sometimes you can make them a little tender-footed. Like, I don't believe in making horses sore for weeks and weeks and all that. Okay, but the sooner you can kind of start getting things lined up here, the quicker all those horn tubules and the lamina are going to connect to the sole, and then the sole can start growing the way it's supposed to.
Right. Now, I didn't take the toe back because the sole of the toe underneath was connected. Like when I went from the apex of the frog right to the tip of the wall, it was 1.5 inches. So I didn't think there was anything to play with.
Okay, do you have any pictures of the sole?
I
you
posted
can
the
share?
sole on the Facebook, the anatomic
Okay,
pack.
okay, let
So
me
where I
go
showed like
find
it
it.
was a green line and it shows like there's an inch and a half. It was only an inch and a half. So I thought, ooh, I can't touch that.
Okay, let's see. We'll take a look at it, all right?
Sure.
Because if the apex of your frog is stretched forward, then you have more than an inch and a half. And that's the thing that some people have a hard time doing, is determining where the true apex of the frog is, because it is only from the true apex of the frog that you measure forward to find that inch and a half.
Right. I
So
think I probably had a problem with that.
yeah, I think because, and his toes aren't excessively long or anything like that or forward, but let's look and see where your frog apex is. So I'm going to
Okay.
go to that page. Let's see, that's on the Mentor page.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and find your, let's see, search. I cannot. Okay. Would you spell your name for me?
Maillous. Last name was Marcia. First name
Oh,
Marsha.
okay. I found it here. And then it'll give me your okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see here. Got all your pictures here.
Great.
Let's see. Okay, I was hoping this would, just a second here. The side view, yeah. Okay. The side view of your foot looks much better than the sole view. The side
Right.
view looks great. You know, it does. But when we look at the sole view, we see problems.
Right.
You know, let's see. Let me new share. Okay, this is the sole view, right? Do you see it?
Yeah, that's
Does everybody
after I
see it?
lightly trimmed it around,
Okay.
but I didn't really touch the
Okay.
toe because there was only an inch and a half left.
Oh, okay. So from here to here, you only have an inch and a half of heel.
There was 2 inches from the hairline there, but from the apex of the frog to
Okay.
the end of the hoof wall in the front, there was
Oh,
only an inch and a half.
okay. Well, I don't think you're finding your true apex.
Okay.
Okay. And also when you do the, like, an inch and a half from the apex to the very end of the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're not finding your true apex. And how big a horse do you have?
He's about 1,100 pounds, the quarter horse, 15-1.
Oh yeah, okay. So he's your regular old saddle horse,
Yeah.
big horse, good sized riding horse.
Yeah.
Okay, so your apex of the frog is not, you have not really uncovered the true apex of the frog. It's
Okay.
probably further back about here. And so
Okay.
one thing that people need to do is they need to learn how to lightly trim this out in here and find where the frog and the sole merge together seamlessly. A lot of times you'll find a real light little white kind of half circle there. There's a couple of ways to find it. Another way to find it is, and I do this a lot, although it's, this is, again, these are general ways, like this isn't written in stone and you cut here, so let me get the annotate. What we find here is that right here at the top, if you go up to the center of the foot and you push in where it just gets soft right above where the capsule is, and you can find straight down, okay, right about there is where your true apex is. Then
Okay.
you'd pick up the foot and look over. But it's not all that easy because when you're standing there, you know, you can wind up looking and it might look straight and it's going to be back here or up there, you know, so it's not all that easy to do this. But this is one thing that I do and I've practiced so I can get it, you know, fairly straight from there to there. And that kind of tells me if my frog apex is in the general direction. And I do that too, because some frog apexes can stretch clear up into here. Okay. Let's see here. Clear all drawings. Now let me close that. And see, and I can tell too, the deal that you have going on here, I can tell by looking at this here. Let me get the annotator again. Draw. Okay, that in your case, his frog corium has been pulled in this way.
Oh, okay.
Pulled in that way, which I call, and you see this here, this is scarring, which means that the frog stay. See this here?
Yep.
That is the back of the foot that's pulled under right there. And so this little area here should be clear up here. These shouldn't be pulling down like that. They should just be going straight across, like so. And then you should have a frog apex. So the back of the center of your foot has been pulled into the center. Just a minute here. That's why your bars are weak, because and your heels are a little pressed forward,
Right.
as well. And so as you continue to grow heel, and it can and you get your frogs really growing well and stuff like that, it's going to push this all back up where it's supposed to be. And so here's another thing with your and it's a quarter horse. Okay.
Yeah.
With your just a minute, clear all drawings. With your horn tubules run forward the way they are, that's going to be pushing on your toe as well, pushing the wall forward. Let's see, let me go back here. And oh, wait a minute. There we go. Maybe this will let me switch from picture to picture now. Nope, I guess not. Okay, so let me do some annotating here. Let me save the image and put it on something else. Hold on.
Can we also see that image with the blue circle? Was that trying to indicate where that little ridge, or it's a C word that you used?
The one with the one with the blue, that's a colt, and he's graveled. That's when a little piece of gravel got up there and it got in the white line, and then in between the two lamina is what happens. It gets in between the two lamina and it just travels up in that pathway, and then eventually it pops out the wall. So yeah, we'll look at that here when I go back to that. Just a second here. Let's see, save. Hold on. Oops. Where is it? Yep, right there. Yeah, he got a rock up in there. It traveled up and it popped out there. And like on my horse, when I left the farrier, his feet were getting big like pancakes, and he had those all over his feet. He was graveled all over the place because he had such a loose white line and so much flare that little piece of the gravel could get up there and just travel up and pop out like that. It's interesting the way that happens, isn't it?
When the cupcake little tins misalign, a piece of gravel can get like sucked up, a lamina?
Yeah, it could get wedged in there and then it just will travel up until it pops out the wall. You know, if they're, even if they're not necessarily, if there's separation at all, you know, see in the bottom, you're supposed to have a really super tight white line to keep gravel from getting up there. Let me see. Just a minute here. New share. I don't know if this can work. Just hold on a second here. Wait a minute. Okay, this is what your white line's supposed to be like. See it? It's kind of gray, not really white. You know, they don't call the white line, they make it so confusing because the white line is not white. Okay, here's your sole. Right here, here's your sole. Here's your wall. Now you see those little lines there? That's the lamina. There's your cupcake holders stuck together right there. Here's the sole, and then this is the sole connected into the wall. The wall has a cupcake holder, and the sole has a cupcake holder, and there it is. See? Now, it's different on the foot. This is the sole and the wall connected to the lamina. The foot emits some sort of glue squirts it into there that connects the sole to there. But in the foot, you have living tissue with leaves like the cupcake holder, okay, that's connected into the lamina of the hoof capsule. Okay, so you kind of got three different forms of lamina here. You have the one on the wall that connects to the sensitive tissue of the foot as it grows from the coronary band and slides down till it meets the sole. Then the sole squirts rubber cement. That's just what it's like. Okay, it's even real yellow and it dries gray. You know, if you've ever worked with rubber cement, you know how it gets these different colors and textures and stuff like that. So you've already got this lamina of the hoof wall. When it hits the sole, there's some sort of biological thing that squirts rubber cement, just like rubber cement anyway, into those lamina to connect the sole to the hoof wall, and then the sole and the hoof wall grow down to the ground together. And so this connection here, okay, and this is usually where we have, when this connection gets stretched, little pieces of gravel can get up in there, and look, they'll travel up the alignment of that lamina in that hoof wall, and eventually they work their way through here and out. See, out the top, pop out the top, little piece of gravel. So this is what we're aiming for. We're aiming for two things. Once we want a nice tight white line, and we want all these lamina to be in alignment. See, now, if these lamina here, because the heels are trimmed out or the heels are collapsed or whatever, and they get forced forward, they disconnect from the sole here. So the sole really has no support. And that's where you'll find a dip in the quarter. And you can't get a clean white line there. It's always, you know, dirty. You might accidentally find one around your toe, you know, because people haven't really been taught what a clean white line is. Also, how you get it, because that's what I'm explaining to you now. It's the wall in the correct spot. See? Now, you can also have a real stretch forward toe with what looks like a clean white line. the toe can actually even be too long and stretched out there, because the sole can actually, this wall could flare clear out up into here, and it could pull the sole with it, and you could have a clean white line, but it's still not the correct toe. That's how deceiving it can be. When I first started trimming for other people, I was trimming for this lady, and she had this little sorrel Appaloosa mare that had toes that were like 3 inches too far forward and long. I mean, she had clown shoes. And she said the farrier told her that, well, these Appaloosas, that's the kind of feet they got. So, not true. But the reason he said that and everything was because it wasn't like a regular flare where you got this wall that's really stretched out and all this dirt and the sole's clear back here. The sole had just pulled forward with the wall and had a clean, you could get a clean white line look just like that. Only it was clear up, at the moon up here. So, okay. Anyway, so this is what you're looking to get on the bottom of your foot. Eventually, but that we're growing that and trimming it and looking for it and producing it and all that. So let me go back here to this horse, just a second here. I'm lost. Okay, I remember what I did now. Okay, let me put this picture up here just a second. Okay. New share. Okay, so you're looking at that foot. Okay, now want you to envision eventually you're going to be able to get a clean foot on this foot like you will on that foot eventually. But it's something you grow. You can't just trim it into that. It's something you also grow into it, so that when you do a trim, you can get a clean foot. Now, every time I do a foot, I get a whole clean foot till the next trim. But I couldn't always get that, had separation in the corners, had flared toes, had weak bars, had all kinds of stuff going on. So let me do an annotate here, and we'll kind of map this foot. Just a second here. Okay, so your true apex is probably about here. I know it's further back than what you got there. So at the least, at the minimum, okay, here's your white line up here. I want a different, I don't like green. Okay, you need to come in here and draw a line across that toe right there. And you always, this is what we call our line in the sand. We always bring that toe back to that line. We never leave any leverage of the wall in front of that toe. Okay, now, now the foot we were just looking at, I had not beveled the toe and stuff yet. We'll go back and I'll show you what I did to that later. And so you definitely want your line in the sand right here. And then what you do here is you blend this in back here. You really don't want it way higher than the sole. You don't want a lever here. You do not want a lever sticking out there, pulling that forward. So then you come in here and like I say, for your setup, I can't promise you, you know, you have to adapt it to whatever's going to fit for you. If your horse needs boots, if he's out in a pasture, if he needs to stay kind of contained for a couple days, just kind of get your trim started and get going, because you're removing what he has been trusting in, because as these feet distort, they also stabilize in their distortion. And so you are removing what is stabilizing and holding up that distortion. So if a horse gets tender or sore, to me, I would expect it. You know, see, I'm past that point anymore going, oh, no, you know, it's very possible that could happen. So you better plan on not riding him that day, and you better plan on giving him some support, you know, and maybe you go halfway. Me, you know, I pretty much just do what needs to be done, but maybe you go halfway, give him a day to adjust, do a little more the next day. However, you got to work it, that you work with your horse to keep him comfortable, but you got to know that you're dealing with distortion that's just going to get worse or stay the same if you don't do something about it. See? And so that's why we use boots. That's why we use casts. That's why we alter what we're going to do with the horse. You know, some horses might need to just be contained for a day or two. You know, I mean, it's up to you. You know, I can't tell you, oh yeah, we're going to fix something that's broke on your horse and he's just going to be 100% great the minute you do it. He's probably not going to be. Then again, some horses, you just never know. You know, it might not affect them at all. It just depends on the horse and what's going on with his feet. Okay, so I want you to know that beforehand so that you are prepared. Because see, he's used to walking on all this, right? You know, so then you come in there and you take that toe back where it's supposed to go, and you start shortening up these toe quarters here so that the whole wall can move. Well, if I come and adjust your fingernail, because it's about half, you know, off, is that going to, are you going to feel that? You know, if you have removed stuff to where everything starts to move, there's going to be some feeling there, right?
For sure.
Okay, so then you got to decide, well, do I want to get this straightened out, or I just want to take a chance of letting him get by?
Well, he's already lame on the other foot, so I think we should just fix his feet.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Okay. Okay. And okay, so this is our line in the sand. All right, when you find where the toe is really supposed to be, that's your line in the sand. You do not want leverage on this dorsal wall. Okay, and then because now these horn tubules are not connected and they're run forward, what the one that should be, say, here is run forward up to here from what we saw on the side view. Okay, so you have to also get some of the leverage off here, at least the most outer part of it, which would be, let me draw this here. Okay, which would be at least that. Now you notice there's still some wall left right next to the sole here. See that?
Right. Yeah.
I didn't strip him out totally. But you can't have this thing on there. See how that's a lever? See, the biggest enemy to these feet is leverage, where the walls get leveraged in any way. And all hoof distortion is caused by leverages on the foot that shouldn't be there. And so you have come in, you have taken the toe clear back to there, and you're going to see I don't make much of a bevel. There's really not much of a bevel, even though from the bottom it looks severe. Okay, I leave a lot of retaining wall support. See, I take away supporting wall support, but I leave retaining wall support. You know what a retaining wall is?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll see on the bevel that it's not real serious. So then I'll come in, I'll blend again this in. Now we're keeping this part back here weighted. I don't bevel this part. Okay, but I'll bevel all through here just to give it room. Okay, now let me take a picture of this. Just a minute here. Gotta save this. Oops. Okay. Just a second. Up. Hold on. Annotate again. I'm taking some screenshots of this, so I have them. Okay. Now I will.
Can you also talk about the coloring of the sole, like the darkness? Is it dirt, or is it like from the past weeks you were discussing the discoloration could be an indication of something else, like laminitis-ish?
It just depends on what color it is. Like if you, like here, we're just seeing dirt and gray sole. It's a black hoof. You probably, I mean, you've been into his soles. Are they white or gray?
Mostly gray with a little bit of white mix marbling around.
Okay, yeah. And so that's normal. Some horses will have only whitish soles, some gray, some white and gray. When they start getting yellow, that's when they're compromised. When they're yellow and shiny, that's when they're compromised. And then I found a video I put on, which I don't ever put those videos on there because, you know, I'm always leery of farriers and stuff like that. But this guy, I found him removing some true false sole and really taking off the toe on this horse and leaving heel, and really seemed to be a very good farrier. And I put a video on there how he just pulled up that sole. It was really interesting. But you need to start cleaning up your soles. I would get like a sole rasp or something, because you got to start at getting them exfoliated, because I believe that gets the sole to growing and renewing itself, and you want it to do that. See,
Linda, how can I determine how much sole he has? How thick it is?
Boy, that's always such a hard question. Okay, well, his sole will be different depending on what's going on with his heels and if the horn tubules are, you know, correctly adjusted. If the wall is at 3.5 inches and it's below the sole, the foot itself is about, from the hairline down, about 2.5 inches. So your horse has probably between 1/2 inch of sole in the toe, you know, which ain't a lot. you
Right.
know, but then it's an inch a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To them it is, I guess. So he probably has, you can look at the depth of the frog apex. A lot of times if there's good depth there, you can have pretty good sole. See, what we're looking at here is sole ridge, because you got two kinds of sole. You got the bowl under here that's convex, and then you got, or concave, and then you got this sole ridge that eventually you want to develop to be about 3/4 to an inch thick. So, a lot of times I'll press right here if it's soft. You ain't got much sole there, but you could have more sole around here, but you probably have about a 1/2 inch. If
Okay.
your foot is 3.5 inches and part of that is wall because you left it high, that's probably what you got. But okay, I also see that you do have some exfoliatable stuff here. You might be able to clean up a little bit.
Okay. Right about where
Because
your
eventually,
cursor is right now, like right in the
right,
center, down a little bit, like to the left, right where I put the writing about the heel is run forward. He's right
yeah,
there on both sides, just at the end of the bar, on both sides, beside
yeah.
the frog, right there. Yep. There's a dent, quite a good dent on both sides. Is that because his foot is folding, or is that just missing some sole?
Well, the foot, first of all, his heels are pulled forward a little bit, so the foot could be bending a little bit there, but also that is the shape of the foot as well.
Okay.
See, the sole goes down like that. The bar actually doesn't go straight and stay up like this. The bar goes and terminates right about there. This is about the center of the foot and where the bars end, right here. Right there. And there's also a little place here. This is where the coffin bone starts, right here. So, right there, if your heels are pulled, because this looks kind of deep right here.
It is.
If your heels are pulled forward, that means that your bars are also bent under or up into the foot. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is just a shell that's on your foot. So when it's distorted, the foot is soft, the heels are soft, they're made out of cartilage, and so this shoe on them, since the heels are bent forward, then they're also bent up into the foot right here. And so yeah,
like removing that bar right where your cursor is, would that help allow the sole, like the bar, to come back out of the sole?
Yes, it will. Let me draw you something here. Just a minute here. Let's go back. Oops. Let me go back and find that picture. Just hold on. Because I wanted to map this foot. And so let me annotate again. I seem to have lost it. Do. Okay, so we were mapping the foot. So let me annotate again. Okay, so remember, you always got to draw a line so that you're square. And have you got a protractor?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good deal. All right, so you're going to find the true apex of the frog, which is probably maybe a little further back than that. Well, let me see here. Where's the center of the foot? Let me. Okay, here's where the bars end. Right here, there's a little lump here. You can feel it if you run a hoof pick right here. Okay, your true apex, I'm gonna just guess. There's probably more there. So you're safely going to be able to bring your toe back about there, which will help you blend these pillars in, like I was showing you.
Right.
So that's probably where your true toe is. Okay, now you're coming up here to the inside of this heel here. Like if I had my, let's see here, if I had my protractor, I'd be laying my protractor up here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I would lay it up against this heel, and then I would draw a line right there. And then I would take this bar here and I would bring it down, because bars start here and they get shorter and they go into there. Okay, actually, in truth. But let me undo this here. On your bar, you want it a little lower than your heel here. You'll actually make a little ledge here. See? Because what you're doing is, because your heels are forward, and so you're wanting to kind of make those bars closer to where they would be if they were normal, and that allows the back of the foot to release and pull back to where the bars are, where you're putting the bar line. Let's see, just a minute. Okay, so we're going to come in here up to that heel. Okay, so yeah, and so you come over here and you just start with the hook of your knife laid flat. You just start following this thin bar wall over this way till you get it straight right here.
Okay.
And then over here, okay? And that's going to help. And you want to make sure that you are, let me get some to draw with, that you are taking this area here down correctly. A lot of times people leave this side high, and this side, they leave this part high right here. You want to make sure you're not leaving this high. And I'm talking about your
That was part
flat
of the
rasping.
that's why I didn't catch it. I
It
thought
is
was
part of the
heel.
heel. Yeah, it is part of the heel, but you also want to make sure that you're not leaving it high so that it's just holding everything right there.
Okay.
See, you can still trim it. I'll show you when we look at my horse's feet, and I'll show you on your horse's feet. Okay, let me take a picture of this. Hold on. Okay, just a second here. Okay. Let's go. Let me undo all this. And we're going to look at another picture. Just a minute. And close that. Okay. Yeah, this will show it good. Okay, I want you to see this here. Oh, do you see the back? Do I have the back shot on there, or do I need to reshare?
That's the back. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What people wind up doing is, yes, that is part of the heel, but it still needs to be maintained and trimmed. What I want you to see here is, let me annotate again if I can find it. Seems to have disappeared on me. Oh, there it is. Okay, just a second here. Okay, see your heel right here? And here? Okay, you see how this is higher?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You have to learn to start finally without taking any of this part down, kind of from here. Okay. You have to learn to take this area down. People, this is another place where people, their feet get stuck. See? And usually once they're worse at trimming one side than the other. You know, like over here, it's not as bad. See there how it's not quite as high?
Yeah.
Right there. This is a hard place to see right in here. But yeah, you got to learn to take this area down here. See it?
But you wouldn't bevel that, just take it down flat.
No, yeah, just take it down flat. Use your small teeth on your rasp. Sometimes I used to even take a black marker and black this area so that I didn't touch it.
Okay.
You know, because you're doing your fine work there on that heel, and you'll notice that when we look at people's pictures, they always get hung up right here. You'll see at the side view, you'll see it long and stuff like that and high. And that's going to pull your heel forward instead of help it come back. It becomes a lever and stuff too. Let's see, let's look. Okay, you can trim out all this periopal
Okay.
here. Okay, thin that out. Start making sure you get your frogs clean, thin, thin like peeling like a grape or something,
Yeah.
Work on that to get your frogs growing. You want everything on these feet to renew, and if you just otherwise they get all calloused up. And you know how when you get a callus, everything under it quits growing and you just have the callus and stuff. So you want everything to move and to grow on these feet. Any moisture you can get to them is good as well. After you get to trimming this up a little better and stuff like that, we'll work on taking some of this periopal out here, kind of thinning out some of this periopal too. Okay, but not necessarily now. But okay, I want to go and just a minute here. Clear all drawings. Just a minute here. This is a good foot to work on, for us to work on today. Okay, again, see here? See, when you're looking down that way, you often don't see this little part right here. But see, if I draw your attention to it, you see what it's doing?
Yeah.
Right there, how it's just higher.
Yeah.
Not so bad over here. Let's see, which foot is that? Right or left?
That's the right right front.
Right front. Okay, so is this the lateral side? Which side is which? Which side's outside and which side's inside?
Outside's where you are right now.
Okay. All right. So,
right?
Our body mechanics and our eyeballs and everything like that.
Sorry,
I think that's medial. That's
right
medial.
side is the other side. Yeah.
Over here?
That's the outside on that side. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So anyway, you'll find that you wind up leaving longer on one side than the other.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Let's see. My horse's right foot. I'm trying to. I can't even think of it right now. How I stand, what my eyes do.
Sorry, is this the one you said one of them is sore? You said he's off. She. Sorry.
Yeah. This isn't the foot, but yeah, this is the horse.
Okay, I thought you said it was right or something. One foot he was sore on.
Yeah, his left foot, it tends to have, I think he toes in a bit. His cannon bone's a bit crooked, so really hard. You have to balance the foot. We can't get it balanced. So But this is the other foot, the other front foot, the right one. And yeah, this to the left of this picture, that's the outside wall.
Thank you.
I'm seeing if somebody posted this still of this horse that was in the Olympics that they had to put down because he did a jump and he landed wrong and he tore a ligament.
Oh,
And
I heard about that.
I was, there was a post, and I think it was, I'm trying to remember, because his foot, that one, he had high low, and that low foot turned in. You know, the whole, he turned in, made the whole leg turn in, and you could see why he would have injured that. You know, and I made a big long unappreciated comment
oh,
about how this is man-made. You know, it'd be like you running in a moccasin and a moccasin that's too small and like a hiking boot and jumping fences, doing a relay or a, what do they call them when they jump those fences?
hurdle. Wow.
Hurdles.
Steeplechase?
Yeah, doing hurdles
steeplechase.
in shoes like that. And then if wondering why you get injured, you know. Okay, so you know what I see good on your horse is the fact that his cartilages have just refused on this foot, on this side anyway, to get totally bound under.
Yeah. From the outside, he didn't look too bad.
No, not at all. But he's I think he'll straighten out well. Now, that was his right foot, and he's sore on his left foot.
Yeah. From birth, I think he's had a crooked foot a little bit, or cannon bone, and the farriers never ever picked up
Okay.
on it. And just recently we got him back, and the person that had owned him in between said that she worked with a farrier for years to try to figure out what it was. They put shoes on him, everything, and he was always going lame. And now he's lame again. We've moved, right, and have trying to find a new farrier. And it's to see that left foot on the left there. He's
Yeah.
They say, oh, you got to keep the outside wall really, really high, but he wears the outside wall off, and now he's lame. So I'm not really sure. I'm getting x-rays done tomorrow morning, so I'm going to see what's going on. Maybe, I thought maybe, he's 20 years old. Maybe something has changed inside the foot. The cannon bone's probably twisted or something, Not the cannon bone, but I'm saying that the coffin bone, maybe it's not repairable. I don't know.
Yeah.
Up from the sternum.
And is he kind of pigeon-toed? Does the toe twist in?
Not noticeably a lot, but slightly on that left foot. Yeah. Just that one foot.
Okay. Well, let me move this vent. Out of the way. Well, one thing I'm noticing here is how steep he is on this side. Yeah. See how steep the wall is and how short in here. And but look at the horse, the foot on this foot. Wall goes out at a nice angle that way and a nice angle that way. Yeah. But on this foot, he's very steep here. So definitely got an imbalance going on there. And if it's been going on that long, it would have also most likely kind of remodeled the coffin bone a little bit on that side.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that would be repairable just by trimming him properly?
It might be. It might be. It might be able to straighten some stuff out that would relieve some stuff and take some pinching and pain off of wherever he's got it going.
Yeah, now we're noticing fluid on his knee because of it. We never had that before.
Yeah. What did they tell you about this foot again?
Well, they said that they noticed that that it was a crooked, I think his cannon bone was a little bit crooked, so it made his foot a little crooked. So he kind of walks like somebody, how somebody walks on the outside of their foot in their shoe?
Yeah.
Well, he sort of walks like that. So they said, oh, well,
Uh-huh.
you have to keep the outside wall higher then to balance his foot. But he tends to wear that off. I don't know. I don't know why, but you'd think it would wear the inside off, but it doesn't.
Yes. Well, I'd be interested in seeing more pictures of that foot for sure.
Yeah, I'll give you some
Try and
pictures. I'll
figure
get
out
some pictures of that.
figure
And
out the
I'll-
puzzle.
Yeah, and I'll get the x-rays because we want to figure out where the lameness is coming from. The vet thinks,
Yeah.
like, we don't really know for sure, right? So we're going to take some pictures of it tomorrow and I'll post them
Yeah.
when we get, see what's going on in
Well,
there.
see, his cannon bone could be crooked because his foot's crooked because this foot is not symmetrical.
No.
So he is not setting the way he should on this foot. And this foot looks like the heel is more trimmed out than this heel. But I could be wrong. I'd have to see more
Yeah.
pictures of that foot.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
that would place this heel further forward, even though it doesn't look like it when you pick him up,
Okay.
which would twist his whole foot.
Yeah.
Kind of twist him in and stuff. Now this foot looks pretty nice and balanced, actually.
That's the one that
And
you've been
the
mapping.
same on both sides. Yeah. And the same on both sides.
Yeah.
You know, everything looks the same up here. You kind of want a mirror image on both sides, you know?
Yeah.
To where he hasn't got that. He's
Yeah,
different
that's
right in
really
here.
different. Much lower.
Yeah. 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 Okay. All right. So, all right. I just want to go back to my foot for
Martha,
What?
Eva here. I just guessing,
Okay.
is this horse leaning on the left shoulder?
I think he does. He really refuses to take the left lead. He
Yeah,
really doesn't like that. And
Aha.
yeah, he's always had trouble with that.
His looks like this would prefer to put the left shoulder forward. Just looking at the feet and how he's standing here.
Yeah, he does tend to lean that way.
Yeah.
I'd be
Hey,
curious
great observation.
to see if one
Yeah,
pack.
that was a great observation. Is that somebody else talking that isn't muted, or was that somebody saying something?
It was me, Tiffany. I was saying I'd be curious to see the pecs
Oh.
of this horse, seeing if one pec is over.
Yeah.
Because I agree with Ava.
Okay.
You mean his chest muscle?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the left side tends to be weaker, not as well developed.
That's right. I believe the compensation is coming from above, and yeah,
Huh.
and it's coming down through the leg.
So why don't you take some pictures and next week we'll look at them.
I'll do
And
that.
we'll ask Tiffany what she thinks and the other people that do body work here,
Yep.
what they think and stuff.
I had an
That'd be
equine
great.
massage therapist treat him about a month ago, and she noticed that right away. She said, yeah, he's not as defined in the chest on the left. He's lacking some muscle compared to the other side.
Wow, that's great. See how good you're doing there, Tiffany?
Thanks, Linda.
For really thinking
Yeah.
all that stuff. I mean, that stuff, hey, I stop at the ankle. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's great, though.
You know, so other people are, you know, you're learning this other stuff and I find it fascinating,
For sure.
you know.
It's complicated, but fascinating. Sure.
Yeah, well, it is, but you know what? They're learning it, and I think it's great. Okay,
for sure.
so I'm just gonna show you here quickly. Now this was years ago trim. My horse's feet kind of changed quite a bit since then too, but so I just want to show you. Okay, so I trimmed. So this was before trim, and then this was after I trimmed him. See, now I can trim him just like a farrier would trim him if he's going to put a shoe on, because they want the foot flat. You know what I'm saying? They want the foot level and flat. And that's also why when they do hot shoeing, they take the shoe and they just kind of do a singe, because that levels the foot out even better and seats the shoe. So this would be a nice foot. Farriers would like to put a shoe on this foot because it's pretty symmetrical. Now he was very asymmetrical, wide on the side, but much more even better now. Much more better in this picture than he used to be, because I totally trimmed this heel out more than that heel. And I actually made him pigeon-toed, turned both front feet in.
Wow.
But now he's not that way anymore. I totally straightened him back after I added heel. So that's what the foot looks like with just a flat trim and no bevel whatsoever. Okay, so so you see his horn tubules are in fairly good alignment. You haven't got like this one here running clear up to here. They're in fairly good alignment here. Okay, yeah, see there? So that's what the feet look before they're beveled, and just a flat trim. Let's see that again. And again, look how thick his walls are. See? Okay, we can look at this. Remember, we started out with, and I don't have the lines drawn on this foot. I don't do that all the time. But I want you to see something here, the shape of the foot. Again, here's the hairline. Remember our foot, the inner foot picture that I showed you of the dissection with the hoof capsule off?
Yep.
Okay, and then the bottom of the foot was shaped like this, right? I don't have the steel going down like this and around. See, that would be leverage and pressure pushing the hairline up here to where it would be then going up like this. See? Come on, undo. Oops. Okay, and then you see, where am I at here? You see the horn tubules. Now they're curved just a hair, but not too bad. Then we come over here and see how this is about 1/4 of an inch shorter over here, because it's following the shape of the inner foot. Just a minute here. Shape of the inner foot, which is like this. Now, come on. Just a minute. Which is, there's the coronary band. It's probably higher than that. See there? Okay, so you see what those lines are for? Those lines are just to get you, well, they're to tell you by the length about how much sole you might have, because the inner foot, which is really about 2.5 inches, so I'm not sure how, I probably made a little long here. And so then sole, sole from here down with the wall, see? Let's see. So it's determining, that you got a little bit of sole there, like you wouldn't want to take it down to the 2 3/4. Although, if you find out about them wild horses, some of them have hoof walls that are just 2 3/4 inches long from here to here, and they'll have almost an inch. They'll still have about an inch of sole. So, that these feet can get real compressed, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, just a minute. Clear all drawings. All right. Okay, so I still haven't beveled this wall. Another thing is you're looking at the shape of the growth ring, which is like it turns into almost like a moonsicle here around the side of the foot, you know, like this, that first set of growth rings, because kind of like that. All right, let's see. Clear out. Okay, and oh, okay. So my foot, because I would go up higher, I would go up to about, let's see. I'll go up to here. So he's about 3.5 inches, and he's right to the sole. So he's got a good amount of sole. If his, let's see. Well, okay, let's say 3.5 is right here. Okay, so let's go. There's 1, there's 2, there's 2.5. This is where his inner foot about ends, right here. So he's got a good 3/4 of an inch to an inch of sole in his toe. Okay. So that's pretty cool. I hadn't done this before. Let me do. That's why I can trim him now and let him go, and he's never sore. It's great. And because all the horn tubules in alignment, he's able to grow sole the way it should. It's wonderful. Okay, so just a minute here. All right, so let's keep going. Yeah. You see, because of the shape of the foot and because of the shape, now look at my growth rings. See how straight they are? How they're not curved? Look how straight the coronary band is. There. And so this is what I'm talking about. Once you get towards this toe and stuff, you kind of get this moonsicle shape here with the growth ring here and the shape of the toe. So all these different things you look at to see, you know, how much in alignment is my horse's hoof capsule with his actual foot and the shape of his foot. These are all things that help you. Okay, so here again, look at his sole. He's got, look at the sole in his heels. He's got full, you know, I've got him, this is 2 inches. Well, it's either 1 3/4 or 2 inches, I don't remember. And he's got full, live, thick sole in the heel here. That's what you're ultimately looking to get. Say, and then a full, thick sole ridge around here and good sole here in what I call the bowl of the sole right here. Now, Marcia, look at the true apex on this horse. See?
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Yeah, and it blends seamlessly because also when you're looking at the hoof, the foot without the capsule on, all the coriums that grow this stuff blend in seamlessly. You know, you really have to look to tell where one ends and one begins. So what happens is, of course, this grows and then it lays up over this right here, and it can also get shoved forward and things like that, pulled forward if the toes stretch forward. So the true apex always gives us the true length of the toe, which is our line in the sand.
Okay, I'll have to go back and work on that.
Okay. Okay, now you see the shape of the bars, how they taper down and end right there at the frog. You know, see, they're not supposed to be high and level with the wall out here. They taper down towards the center of the frog and end right here. So, and the shape of the sole is like this. See, the shape of the sole is not flat across over here. And again, you really got to pay attention to this area here. I'm still not paying quite enough attention to it. And I think it's holding me up. So much, these feet are so deceiving. Of course, I did pretty good right there, I think. Unless I cock my head and then it looks like I'm leaving this high over here. And so you know what that'll do? That's just going to hold my heel forward if I do that. So I think I was probably leaving this whole area high here. Okay, so here I'm just showing how thick the walls are. Here, we'll look at that apex again. See, just seamlessly goes from frog to sole. Okay, so what I did here, I marked this. Really, I usually try and take the toe back to where this little line is, but I wound up marking it there. But I have these marked because I'm going to bevel this. Okay, that's all the more I beveled that foot. See, I don't do a deep, strong bevel. We'll look at it here. But you wind up taking more off of the sit toe right here in the bevel than you do on the sides of the toe. And what I've been thinking lately is, you know, I'll come out and I'll look at my horse's feet a week or so later, and I'll notice that this part is high. I think you could come out and just, you know, every so often, sooner than when you do a full trim, and just knock this area down again and bevel it again on a regular basis. The only reason now I leveled the foot, right? So the only reason when I come out that this area seems like it's grown more when it hasn't is because I beveled more of the toe than I did of this area. And so since I do that rarely, I'm seeing where I need to come out and knock this area down once a week at least and rebevel it. Because it grows. It isn't that it grows the fastest, it's that it's the less beveled, so it tends to. Plus, okay, we're also talking about the fact that on a lot of these horses, this area is run forward and too long of horn tubules, and so when you bevel it, they're going to move back and they're going to drop down, and that's going to seem like it's growed, so you kind of want to stay on that so that they'll keep moving. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing I leave this side long. I might leave all of this long or high, this whole side, when I kind of cock my head. Okay. Now, on your bars, you can leave a little ledge right here. You can come down a little lower and leave a little edge. I usually do. I usually bring this over just a little more. Okay, all right. Now, do you see how I beveled that?
Yeah.
See? He's still, and you saw from this picture here, that's not much of a bevel, is it? See? Still leaving a lot of retaining wall support there for the sole that's behind there. So a lot of strength of the wall, but yet room for everything to move that needs to move, or so there's no leverage pulling things apart.
Can we go back to the picture where you're shooting from behind and you think you have it too high on one side?
Yeah.
Please. In my opinion, I think you're not shooting no, the other one.
This one?
Back. Yeah, this guy. You're not shooting down the center of the hoof. You're a little bit off center. So it's a little bit of an optical illusion of why the right side looks higher. If you would move the camera
Okay.
to the left, I think you're being hard on yourself is what I'm saying.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Well, that very well could be, but the fact is that we do leave a lot of times these sides higher than we normally do. I am my own worst critic, but let's see. Let's look at it. Did I get it back here? I just wish I could take this and straighten it out. And look, you're probably right. I could be right. But still, even so, we want to make sure, because if I leave a little ledge here, it will make a difference in what my foot does. Alrighty. Okay, so we're gonna end with that. Now, there were a couple girls that messaged me, and we got to look at their horses' feet. Are you here today? Is anybody here today that wanted me to look at their horse's feet, that asked me like yesterday and the day
Linda.
before?
I did
Hi.
message you. I'm Kim with
Okay.
Stevie.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Where are your horse's pictures at?
He has an album on the Mentor Facebook page.
Okay. Okay. Just a second here, and I will get there. And let's see. Okay, and what's it under? Spell your name for me again.
Kim, Kim, and the album is labeled Stevie. It's a brown and white paint.
Okay. Okay, so that'd be these photos right here, huh? Okay, and he has laminitis, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it sounded like,
don't you think?
We were suspicious of some coffin bone rotation in the left front.
Okay, and did you ever get him x-rayed?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay. Well, let's just, let's see. Let's go to see all. I hope this will. I hope I can get on here so I can go from one picture to the next. Oh, I think I did. I thought I did. No, I can't. Let me see if I can find the album so I don't have to keep going back and forth. So let me look here again. Here, let me do the new share. Well, I feel for you because his feet look really sore, And will you explain to me how he moves, how he walks, what his current condition is?
Yeah, he's just short-strided and choppy. I noticed that. I haven't ridden him in months, but back when this very first started, when I was riding him, I noticed he just felt like really choppy under saddle, which wasn't like how he was before. And he's fine at a walk right now. He seems comfortable, but at a trot, he's head bobbing lame, basically, and seems uncomfortable. So that's where he's at.
Yeah, I can see why, because his feet look really inflamed, lots of inflammation, and soreness. I mean, I can just see it in it. And one thing you see in feet like this is the periopal just goes kind of crazy like this, just like flaky and weird and all that. That's that flaky, strange stuff you see here. The periopal is just not right. And so can you tell me, like did you trim him, and what method you used, or did you have barefoot trimmers, or what was the deal?
I've had him for about 16 years, and that whole time he's been trimmed by farriers. I never had a barefoot trimmer trim him. So I think I didn't know much about hoof care before just recently. I just kind of trusted them, and I think they were doing like more like a shoe prep trim.
Yeah.
And he's always been like sound, but very sensitive on like hard surfaces, and we've always struggled with like chronic thrush and flaring and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I started trimming him about 9 months ago, and
Okay.
I wasn't really following a particular method. I just kind of have been learning online, and I was basically just trying to bring the toe back. I wasn't really doing a whole lot with the heels, and cleaning up the frog each time I would trim. And I was trimming him about every like 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. Okay. Well, ultimately, farriers gradually trimmed his heels out. Now, did they ever shoe him, or did you always keep him barefoot?
He's always been barefoot.
Okay. And so they just did a pasture trim on him, but it doesn't matter because they never trimmed the heels correct anyway. And then just gradually over time, they trimmed the heels out of him and bound his foot up, you know?
Yeah.
And then you've been kind of letting his heels go, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was good, except how have you been trimming the bars? What have you been doing to the bars? I mean, I'm kind of looking at the bars, so I kind of know.
I've just been trying to straighten them and ramp them from like front to back.
Okay. Because see, oh, go ahead, dear.
I've been trying to get them like sole level.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's one area that will hold you up, is just getting them sole level, because the sole is not level. Okay. And when the heels are trimmed out, just a minute, I gotta just give a message to somebody. Okay. You have to trim these bars a certain way, even though you've been letting the heels go, because you've been keeping the bars pretty much where they're at. Okay. And just sole level, then they're holding those heels right where they're at too. And so the heels can expand and start moving back and make the capsule bigger so that the foot can go back into the capsule correctly and fit in there correctly. Now, you live in the United States, right?
Right. I
Okay,
live in
so
Utah.
have I talked to you? Oh, okay. Have I talked to you about getting some of D.F. Crosley's foot treatment stuff?
Yes, you did post that
Okay.
link.
Okay, I would really, really, really suggest that. Okay.
Okay.
Because one of the most important things that we do is get a healthy frog. Okay. And so he's going to need a really healthy frog to be able to overcome this situation that he's going through. As well, that stuff, see, if you can, I'd like to see you get some of his shampoo and some of his hoof paste. Or either the hoof paste or the tea tree recovery spray, either one, because it'll be, first of all, when you take and you wash these feet and you wash their pasterns too, okay, that shampoo just so gets rid of all the bacteria and everything. It's really going to help his periopal get healthier and his frog get healthier.
Okay.
Okay. And then whether it's the tea tree recovery spray or the hoof paste, which is good. I like it because you can rub it on the coronary band. And if you have any kind of skin conditions, any kind of fungus for anything, it's wonderful stuff. This guy, I know him personally. He is like a real scientist. He is really into this stuff. And it's got ionized copper sulfate, which is the greatest stuff, zinc, ionized zinc, tea tree oil and other essential oils in it, and it is just wonderful for these feet. And so what you're having here, like let's look here, because his foot is bound into a smaller capsule. Okay, you're having this well, it's wanting to burst out, and there's a lot of inflammation. And so, you know how we looked at the white line on my horse, how tight it was? Okay, what you're seeing here, when you see this, you're seeing inflammation in the white line right there. Okay, also, you're not also, you also need to trim down to try and find the true apex of the frog a little bit better there. His soles look pretty sore. Now, when we take this picture here, we're going to talk about your bars. Okay, let me save the image of this and put this in a different spot here. Just a minute here. Okay. Well, I think I lost the picture. Just a minute here. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. New share. Okay, we're going to flip this around so we can really look at it. Okay, see, for one thing, feet are not round. Okay, these heels that you got here, let me get some to draw with here. Make sure I'm sharing the right deal. I am. Okay. Let's see. Okay, these heels, let me get a right color, blue, that you got that are right here. Okay, they're actually supposed to be back here. Back here. The toes are never round. Okay. See, if you don't know what the true foot looks like to begin with, it's hard to kind of get there, you know? And so let me see. Let me clear all this and go here real quickly. Just a second here. Oh, I guess I closed that. Just a minute. Okay, see the shape of this toe? It's not round. You know, if you have a round toe, that's hoof distortion. If you have a round foot, that's hoof distortion. Front feet are more oval and spade shaped. Back feet are very spade shaped. Okay, so whenever you see a round foot, okay, you're going to know that that's hoof distortion. So when the heels get trimmed out, you got a false heel that moves forward. So that heel winds up right here, pulling everything under with it as it goes. And that's how you wind up starting to get a round foot. And then it pushes all the horn tubules forward, so it rounds out the sides of the toe too. Let's see. Okay, so we have to start trimming the back of this foot so that it will start to heal. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to come in here and you're going to have to trim this frog down to a live frog as much as possible. And the center here, you're going to have to get some of that stuff and treat the frog so the frog gets healthy. And then you're going to have to correct what looks like a heel. This is not a real heel. Here, this is false heels that develop basically sidewall, maybe some real heel, not much. And so you're going to have to come in here. Let me annotate and do, and I'll make a copy of this. Let's see, draw. Okay, so we always put a line down the very center there. Okay, what I'd like to see you do first is work on the bars here and the frog. the bars and the frog. Okay, and so you want to, you're going to want to trim off some of this dead stuff here. And you're going to want to map your bars. Just come to the inside of the heel here. And you see this hook here on the heel where it connects the bar. There's like a, just a minute here. There's like, here's the wall. And then you see a hook there. And then here's your bar. Do you see that hook right there? There's one here too. You see it? See the hook?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's the old heel and a wrong bar connection there. All right. So what you have to do, let me see. Undo. You have to trim this out right here and make a new line for your bar right in here. See that? You have to come through here. Wait a minute. Let's map this bar. These bars, this bar has to come out because bars, this bar is grown up and is actually laying over your sole because the sole is not level, okay? The sole, remember I showed you on my horse's foot how it tapers down like that? The sole comes out like that and tapers down like that. So now what you have is you have this bar, semi-bar. This is actually sole right here. Your bar ends right here. And right there. This is just dead sole. The bar actually tapers down and ends right in here. Yeah, this is big wedges wedging up into the bottom of his foot, dead sole right in here. So you want to set the knife flat, but you take the hook and you want to start following this wall over and get this cleaned out over to here, because I'll tell you why. Because your, just a minute here. Your true heels are back here. Okay? And so your true bar, the true bar is over here in reality. Okay? But as the heels are trimmed out and move forward, the bar, false bar, it's real bar, but it's false in that it's grown from a bad position, goes over like this, follows the heel. See, follows the heel. Even that's not where the true bar would be if the heels were correct and came back to where they're supposed to, grew back in to where they're supposed to. Then the bar would be like over back here. Okay, this minute. Okay, so you got to map the foot, and the first thing you got to do is clean up this frog and clean up these bars and get rid of these hooks and reposition your bars so that your foot can start moving. Because wherever you leave the bars is where the heels will stay. I can show you some other pictures here. Just a minute here. Let me do this.
How low can I take the bar?
Oh, clear down like this.
Okay.
You can take off. You can start lifting it off the sole. You see it's grown up and laid over the sole. So when you start lifting this off the sole, you're going to see dirt underneath. You can take it off and over until you quit seeing dirt.
Okay, so I'll definitely have that step that you were talking about up to the heel.
What?
You were talking.
Oh, you mean the
before,
little ledge here?
Yeah, or
yeah, right
yeah.
in here. Yep.
Okay.
See, even what I'm drawing here, okay, and see this little chunk of heel here? You take that out too. You need to round that out right to there.
Okay.
Round this right to here. You're establishing a new place where these bars are supposed to be, you know,
Okay.
and, you know, see these chunks in the bottom here?
Yeah.
You need to work at getting them out too. And you don't want to totally clean every bit of sole out of here. It's supporting that area right now. But you're maybe eventually here in a week or so, work on that. Okay. But definitely work on a frog, get it treated, and get these bars cleaned up, because this in and of itself is going to create a problem and inflammation in the foot. See, and you've got so much wall separation from the inflammation going on. That's what this coloring is. It's all from inflammation internally. This ropey looking white line, inflammation in the lamina. You know, and it's all because his foot is too small. Here, I'm going to take a picture of this so that I can post it to you.
As far as his round hoof shape needing to be more spade shape, how do I start working towards that? I since I'm kind of already like near the white line.
Okay, well, what you're going to do there is what I just showed you. You're working on the back of the foot so the back of the foot can expand and start healing. Oh, hold on. I got a phone call. Hold on a second here. All right, I'm back. Okay, yeah, you're working on straightening up the back of the foot. I wouldn't be doing a whole lot to anything else because there's so much inflammation. Okay, what we're
Okay,
going to do, we're going to start.
so I shouldn't take anything off like the quarters or the toe pillars right now.
Not really, not right now. Let's just get this cleaned up and
Okay.
start getting his frog healthier. And see if that'll release some stuff to where his foot can start expanding a little. But we're going to go look through some other pictures, but this is of primary importance, what's going on back here. Okay. See, their foot expands from here back, and then that releases the foot and enlarges the capsule so that the foot can relax and fit in the capsule. And then that gets rid of a lot of this inflammation that causes this ropey white line. Okay. Right now, he feels his foot is under assault because it's all bound up in a smaller capsule than it should be. And so it's just like as if like you wearing a pair of shoes that are 2 sizes too small and it's starting to injure your inner foot. Okay, just a minute here. We'll look at some more pictures. Yes. Okay. Just a minute here. Okay. Gonna look at these other pictures. And see this right here. Okay, that's supposed to be full of frog, but the frog the frog corium itself has been pulled forward in the foot into that smaller capsule. So yeah, we're just gonna work on kind of loosening all this up back here, getting this treated. Let's see, let me look at some more pictures. Well, that didn't want to load. There we go. Okay. Okay, yeah, the biggest problem is in the back of the foot. And so if we start getting that straightened out, it should help the rest of his foot.
Does the dishing in the toe in that last picture indicate that there's a rotation starting to happen?
The dishing indicates that because the back of the foot is pulled down here and shoved up under here, it's pushing up into the coffin bone, which is, yeah, it's making it rotate and push back this way, but it's pushing the wall that way. See, instead of the foot sitting flat and relaxed in the capsule, because a good percentage of the foot and the frog and everything is pulled under here and then shoved up that way, well, there's that coffin bone right there, shoves it up like that. Well, it rotates on this bone and it pushes it down, pushes the toe of the coffin bone down. But the hoof capsule, the other cupcake container, cup, is being pushed that way. So you got one cupcake being pushed that way and one that way because of the mechanical situation that's going on here. So we're going to try and release some of the back of this foot to let this relax. This is why you've got this curve too, because the back of the foot is actually pulled in, pulled down and in like that. Again, what's it do? Pushes up into the back of that coffin bone and bends it up that way, which rotates it on that joint and pushes the dorsal wall of the inner foot of the coffin bone back that way. But then it has the effect of forcing the capsule that way. So you've got them pulling against each other on a continual basis. See, pulling them cupcake cups apart, so to speak. Okay, so that's what I would do. I would start with the back of the foot and getting the back of the foot loosened up and getting that frog trimmed down to live frog all the way around. Okay, and let's look again at the back of that. Yeah, I would trim up this frog. You got a lot of dead frog here. See it? Let's see. Okay. Dead frog, thick dead frog on a deformed foot is not your friend. Okay. You're not doing the horse any favors by giving him dead frog support. All that's going to do is hold his foot right where it's at. Just a minute here. See, that's a lot of frog right in there. A lot of dead, probably dried. When you look at, and we want to get his frog growing, you know. All of this is pretty much crusty, dead, periopal going crazy as it always does. So yeah, you need to get your frogs trimmed up here. and start the back of this foot healing and expanding. I'm going to show you pictures. Just a minute here. How this works. Just a second. Okay. Well, we'll start here. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so you see this foot here. This shows you an example there. It's not this foot. I'm just using this dissection to show you what you need. You see, this is the inner foot. And so you saw on my horse where you have live sole and it's all uniform thickness and live and healthy on the bottom of this foot here, because the bar here and the wall fits it correctly. The bar and the wall is not shoved up on the foot like what you see here. And that's why, like in your guys' feet, a lot of times you have all this flaky sole in here and in the seat of the corn and in the heel, because in reality you haven't got a true wall that's fitting correctly on this foot, so that the true sole is growing. It's actually got everything shoved forward, incorrectly growing, and that's why you get all that flaky sole. And that's why it's so wrong when these feet are like this, that people go, okay, well, you clean out the seat of the corn and then you take the heel down to the sole. Well, you're not at the correct sole with your heel. See, your heel and bar actually impeding most of the sole in the heel and bend. So as you open this up correctly and bring those bars over, things start to grow and expand, so that the heel, I simulated this. Here's the heel back here. See, that's where we don't trim it down to there. We grow it back to there. We restore it. That's where the heel should be. Now see how it changes the shape of the foot? See how the foot looks so round? If it were to be, heels were to be right here. But if I restore the heel back to where it should be by growing it back there, not trimming it down, just lowering the heel don't work. Then look how that heel moves back. It's fitting the foot so that the sole can grow there. Just a minute. Okay, so I marked on this one where you would think the seat of the corn is right here on the foot. See, this much of this foot is bent and covered over. This is where the heel should be. I just made a simulated example on this foot. This is a bad foot. See, heels have been trimmed out. Very much like your foot too, in that it looks very sore and inflamed, got a lot of inflammation. See, round, like so. Some more examples I'm making. Here's where the heel is. Here's where it should be. This is how much you can trim out of these heels. Well, let me see here. Okay, so you kind of see what you're doing. I had one picture that actually showed one heel totally trimmed out like that, whereas other heel totally normal. Let me see if I can find that picture. Let's see. Yeah, it was a good example because literally this foot had one heel just like that. Well, I do not see it. I wonder what I did with that. Well, okay, I'll show you this one last thing real quick here. This is just a picture I did to show how gradually the heel grows back in and moves back, restoring the size of the hoof capsule, relaxing the whole foot so it can actually sit in there normal, and how this heel just moves back eventually. But what I wanted to show you here, let me annotate. Is what these bars do. See, just a minute. Okay. So here, wait a minute. Dang. I'll do it like this. Okay. Okay, so here you see the bar right there. Okay, and down here, if but look where the bar is on the other side if the heel were normal. See, now if I were to take this and make that, you see how the bar moves over and down and back? That's why when you come in here and you trim these bars, you want to trim them over to where they are as far as the position of where the heel is currently, but also take them a little lower right there. Getting them, you're starting to move them over towards where they're supposed to be, where they're going to be once you grow that heel back in, say, to where the bars are going to be where they're supposed to be here instead of how they've wound up clear up here. See, the bar supposed to be here, wound up here. And so by taking them over a little more than they should be, a little lower next to the heel than they should be, that releases them so that the heel can move back and grow in and your foot can finally relax in the capsule. Okay. Oh my goodness, got the yawns. Okay. All right. So Kim, do you have any more questions for right now?
I think that makes sense. I think I know what I need to do to get him started. So thank you.
Okay, and of course we'll be here next week. So why don't you work on him this week and let us know how you did?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, great. Let's see. Let me close this. Let me go to my email. See, there was another gal. Huh. There was another gal. Oh, that was you, Marcia. That was you. Okay. And Kim. Um, I guess that's it. Okay, well, I think we're gonna. No, I can't end until I talk to Riza. Are you still there?
I think saw him on earlier because I wanted to talk to him about the casting that he recommended last week. That was
Yeah.
spectacular.
Oh, where did
But
he go?
I think he had to go maybe. I think
He probably left.
Oh.
Usually he sticks around this long.
Mhm.
I'm lost. Just a minute. Let me find here. Maybe just fell asleep.
Spectacular?
Huh?
Pardon?
Did the casting go spectacular? Did I hear
Oh my
that?
gosh. Do you remember last week we were talking about Riza? Am I saying his name right?
It's
Riza?
really hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Riza. Said to do a cast, kind of like make a shoe first. I put dental impression. I made a video of it and I just haven't, it's just the editing thing. So I'll share the video with you. It was amazing. And this horse has been x-rayed.
That'd be awesome.
This is the one with the 5 vaccination, the physical trauma, and laminitic. But then they said that diagnosed bruised sole, and then diagnosed trauma to the shoulders, torn muscles, and then it clearly was laminitic. So, anyways, 2 months later, finally got X-ray. She's rotated. She's not improving. She wasn't improving, and so I did. When I talked to last week, I said that the problem with the dental impression material was I couldn't get it to be a big enough cushion on the sole, because the minute I put her foot down, it just. So Reza said about putting that, I put dental impression material on the frog. I did made the shoe. I used a 1-inch cast. And again, I did make a video of this, so I will share it. I made a 1-inch, used 1-inch cast, and I made like a shoe that made it so I had like it was like making her capsule higher than the sole. And then I put another layer of dental impression material that was all over her sole, and then I casted the whole foot. Now this horse could, extreme case of kind of the laminitic walk, and was in a tremendous amount of pain. And so I said to leave her in a stall. And the first day wasn't great, but each day, this is like the 5th day, each day leaps and bounds of improvement. They said, called me today,
that's awesome.
and it's just that power of, like, you've always talked about that, Linda. And I even said to this girl, I said, you can thank Linda Harris for having the courage to stand up and say, okay, what we're doing isn't necessarily the right method. We could maybe be doing these other techniques. So it sounds simple. And what is great about the casting is that you don't have to be worried about shoes. You don't or nailing the horse, and these things stay on for like 3, 4, 5 weeks. So we really medicated the dental impression material. I just use copper sulfate because that's all I have. I now have the Crosley, the DF. And so each day, I mean, there's still a bubble, right? It's one day at a time. But she said that she actually kicked out today to the horse that was beside her, which means she put her weight on her front feet. And she's just saying that each day it's better and better. And I want to say it was as simple as supporting the capsule and giving her a deep cushion. So kudos. If anyone's listening to this, casting is I would say relatively easy. Yes, there's a learning curve and you're going to waste some casting material, but you're never, I can't see you hurting your horse. Like you just, you get it until you got it securely put on your capsule. And it just is like clamping that capsule and saying, okay, now the internal foot can heal. I'm giving you that chance.
Wow.
So I just, it was amazing.
That's
Again,
awesome.
I will share the video, and it's just, I guess, as we go on and with what Reza had said, it got better and better and better. Like we're getting better and better and better at that technique
Yeah.
of casting. So, and again,
Yeah, that's
I will share
wonderful.
this. If anyone's out there with a horse that, you know, is ouchy and in discomfort, it takes a little bit. Like it doesn't, some people say, oh, you know, they can walk away sound. This horse took, well, she'd been 2 months like this. So it's going to take a little bit of time, and but each day is a definite improvement. So anyways,
Well,
that's it.
see,
I'll share the video when I have it done, so people can watch and, you know, comment on, you know, maybe there's better techniques, but it worked beautifully.
that's great. And the same for, you know, that horse. I'm going to have to talk to Amanda. I think it was Amanda. Oh man, my brain. About that horse that I showed a few weeks ago. Remember, he was laminitic and they cast him, and I said, well, put him in a stall and don't let him move around.
Oh
a
yeah,
lot.
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, because you want to stabilize. You want the feet to stay. You want them cupcakes to stabilize.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know? You don't want to move in their little cupcakes around much. Like a fingernail that's been torn off. What you do everything to protect that thing, right? I mean, you alter your whole lifestyle, even how you unbutton your pants, go to the bathroom, you know. I mean, you got to alter your life. So this is their feet they live on, and they're coming loose, you know. So they have to re-adhere and stabilize. And so that cast is like the cupcake pan.
And the damage is done, right? Like the damage is done to that capsule. So now you have to say, okay, that capsule's done, really. And then how can we hold that hoof together to let that new one grow in that's going to be lined up? And so I just told these people, I said, you got to be prepared for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. I said, but it doesn't matter, because you're going to support her and you're breaking the pain cycle. And then you're going to, you know, I mean, I think 20 years ago, even maybe 10 years ago, this would be kind of a euthanizing type case. And
they've euthanized horses they didn't need to. Yeah.
So just a really good news story from this group, right? This was you organizing and getting all these ideas and people coming together. And then once I heard that, I went and did that casting method, and it was just beautiful. So
see, that's great, you know. And what's great, people like you know, doing this stuff and seeing the results, and this is going to help other people. And Kim, you know, this might be something you're going to want to do for your horse as well, you know, here at some point. Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And I look forward to seeing that video. And I wish Riza was here to hear it, because he'd be tickled pink.
Yep. And I do want to, I did even say in the video, I said, you can thank Linda Harris for this. But I have to put Riza in there too, because he was a part of that. So he allowed that depth, right? To put that depth. He's great. Dental pressure material. Yep. So.
Yeah, he's really experimented. I have never used it. Okay. I've used squirt in vet tech silicone, but I have never used that dental impression material. And he has really gone to town with using that, and so has Linda Vanden Elzen as well. So yeah, it's great. It's great. I can see where I see, like he was saying, 2 ways that's really beneficial. 1, the support, and 2, it keeps some moisture in there that allows that frog and the everything to move and have a little resiliency.
Mhm.
Because when things go bad is when that frog gets so dead and so tight that nothing can change and nothing can move.
Yeah.
So,
And you can
well, this
medicate
is
it too,
awesome.
right? So you can medicate
Yeah.
it as well. So it keeps any of the, like, because you would think secondary, like I'm surprised she has an abscess or something. And then you're dealing with
Yeah.
that, right? And so
Yep.
they're red lighting her also. And I'm a big fan of red light. I like that red light therapy.
Mhm.
And so they're red lighting her and then doing with the medicated dental impression material, as well as, again, I just use
Mhm.
copper sulfate. She's not, we're still one day at a time because we're doing catch
Yeah.
up now, but it's
Yeah.
really, the owners are ecstatic because they thought this was over, right? They just
This
didn't
was
even know
over.
whether,
Yeah.
yep. So it's, the science is there for what we need to do. It's just the techniques. So, and this is a great one. And it's inexpensive. You're thinking about expense, right? It's like, what's a
Yeah.
cast? $7-8 per
Yeah.
cast. And
Yeah.
dental
Yeah.
impression
Cheap.
material is a little bit more expensive, but it doesn't matter. And you can do it. I just can't imagine anyone not being able to do it. Maybe not your first try, maybe not your second try, but by your
Yeah.
third try,
Just a
you'll
little
get it.
practice.
You'll get it, and use your horse, and they just have to be patient, and then you'll eventually get it. So anyways, the video might help
So,
with some tips, and then
okay.
go from
So
there.
what kind of copper sulfate did you use? Did you have the blue crystals?
I did. I bought it from,
Okay, that's
it
great.
was called Allen. I'm in Canada, so it was from Allen's.
Uh-huh.
I just said copper sulfate for horses, and I thought I was pretty safe with that. But I will
Yeah.
use, now that I've got the Crosley stuff, which cost me like $70 to get it here.
Ouch.
I
Which kind did you get?
I got it came in a package, the shampoo and then the concentrate for the hoof. Whatever, I
Oh,
don't know.
great.
I don't know what it is. So it's the one
Oh,
you
you're
put
going to be
in.
so happy.
I think so. So, and that's what I'll do. I'll treat the hoof before that with that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I put copper sulfate in the dim. So, and then that
Mhm.
slowly secretes out. And I think that needs to be there when you've
Yeah.
got like a super compromised foot like that. But if it's
Oh,
not, like if
yeah.
it's just a sore foot, you still do copper sulfate, but
Yeah.
there's not quite the kind of the scary stages. With that, you just got a
Yeah.
horse that has to grow some soul and stuff. This one I would think she's going to lose her whole soul. But right now we're
Yeah.
just, keeping that capsule together. Anyways, thanks for the group. That
Okay.
saving that horse's life.
Are you going to take, I can't
Yeah.
wait to see the videos.
Yeah, I'll just I'll just
Okay.
post a link, and I'm almost done it. I'll have it up in the next couple of days. I guess I'll put a link or something, or because I have a
Okay.
YouTube. I only have a few videos on my YouTube page, but I can just put a
Okay.
link, I guess. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, do.
Okay.
Sounds
Okay.
great.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share, or any questions or anything? Anything?
Hey there, it's Tiffany. I do have a question. First, I love
Hi.
Denise. Like I loved it. So I'm happy to hear some good news.
That's
Of
great.
Thank you. Awesome.
course, my gosh, we're all rooting for you. I
Yeah.
have a question about the week before last. Antoinette had a question about the sole view of a hoof, right where the bars either will start. If you're looking towards the apex of the frog, there are like these sometimes little divots. And you mentioned that could be the impression of the coffin bone. Does this sound vaguely
Yeah.
familiar? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm wondering, I'm just asking. I'm not saying this is so, but I was talking about it with
Uh-huh.
Lee Powers, because that's what we do. We talk about
Uh-huh.
who's. And we're wondering if that divot or bump or lump is the indication of the start of the angle of the hoof changing, the palmar angle. When you start those lumps, is that a shift in the palmar angle?
No, it's just part of the coffin bone itself. It's got a rise and a lump there. It's the palmar angle has to do with when you're looking at the side. Let me see if I can find a picture. Just hold on here.
Okay, but to be clear, when you see it through the sole, when you start to see the lump through the sole, is that an indication of the angle changing?
Well, I don't think so, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
You know, no, not necessarily. Could just be that you're either just seeing the shape, because as the sole grows, the sole takes on the shape of the inner foot. You know, so you could just be seeing that, or it could be thin sole. Because they've all got that lump there, no matter what the angle of the coffin bone is. See?
Okay.
The thing to do would be to study it some more and look at some bones. You know, let me see here. I have looked. I don't so much anymore at literally thousands of photos, as well as my own, and well, I have a foot right here. What am I doing? I'm gonna look here for the bump. Just a minute. Okay, so let me see. So this here, I don't know if we can see. Just a minute. Okay, I don't know if you can see very good, but you see the bottom of the foot here. Just a minute. Pin spotlight. Okay. It's hard to see, but there's a bump right here. Right there is a bump. And that is a natural bump that's on the bone itself. Now the bone ends right here. And this is all cartilage right here. But the bar would connect into the back right there. Well, really it connects pretty much right where that bump is. Right here. Hard to see. I'm trying to see if I can maybe shine some more light on it. This is a plaster cast of a dissection I did. Okay, let me get something to point it out.
That's better.
Because you can't really see it. It's right here. There's a bump right here. And the bone itself goes right here and then ends right here. And so all of this connected in here is soft tissue and cartilage. But there's a bump here. See? And so that's what the foot looks like from the side. Now this foot, this right here shouldn't have been pulled down. This is a foot that I was trimming the heels out of. And so it pulled this cartilage. I have pictures of it where after a few days, it went from being down here to being up back like that. Okay. But this part of the foot so far wasn't really badly affected. Okay. And you can see that it's got really a positive, more of a positive angle. But also the hoof capsule is bent. If none of this was bent, this would probably set more flat like this. Don't pay attention to this part. More like that. But the coffin bone itself inside there is at more of a positive angle like this, because when I took off the soft tissue on this foot, you can see that the coffin bone's set up like that, but the cartilage that's attached to it, the sole corium, is thicker here So actually the foot, in my opinion, feet set relatively flat like so, but the coffin bone itself is set in there at an angle like so, with the sole corium being thicker under going into the heel. And then this bump here, I've seen it in pretty much all of them. Let me get another foot. Let's see. Okay. There's a bump right here. Hard to see. There's a bump right here. The coffin bone again goes right here and ends right there. So the heel is all, cartilage. So there's a bump right there. I had a coffin bone where you could really, really see it, but I think some dog ate it. It all just slunk out of the room. Okay, let me see what I got here. There's another foot. Again, there is a slight bump right here. Hard to see. You can feel them more than you can see them a lot of times. Let's see what else I got here. On this capsule, this is the one by where my dog ate the coffin bone. I'm sure it's disappeared, but there's a lump right here that just follows the shape of it. So to me personally at this time, right there, it's just a shape, the shape of the coffin bone. There's just kind of a slight lump right here, and the bar connects right into the back of here.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, I don't know. Could more work to be done, more feet to be looked at. There could be something that you could look at that on that and tell if maybe there was some rotation or maybe what the angle was or something like that. I don't know. Okay, anybody else got anything they'd like to share or say or anything? Nope. Okay. Well, hey, we're going to end for today. Thank you for coming. And everybody have a great week and good health to everybody. Okay.
Thanks, Linda. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Bye.